Right, folks, let's go with take two and hope that this time we are live. Because I don't know what happened, but I was talking there for 15 minutes. Talking away for 15 minutes I was, thinking that I was live, and I wasn't, even though YouTube was showing me that I was live, but it was a preview. Am I live now, ladies and gentlemen? Give me a thumbs up to let me know in the chat that I am live, and I will go back through everything that I just spent 15 minutes talking about on the chat, thinking that I was live. But hopefully now we are live, ladies and gentlemen. So just give me a thumbs up in the chat just to let me know that we're live, and we will get straight into the show. Because on my end, it looks like we're live. It looks like we're good to go. We good? Yeah, there we are. Nice one, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise. I was rabbiting away for 15 minutes, thinking that you'd all deserted me, thinking that there was nobody in the chat, and wondering what the hell was going on. It's very quiet tonight, Craig. I said to myself, you're rabbiting away here, mate, and nobody looks interested. Nobody's commented on anything you had to say. And here was, I swear to God, 15 minutes. I did a full 15-minute spiel there, went through the transfer gossip, did everything. This is what happens when Connor's not around. This is why I can't run a YouTube channel on my own, ladies and gentlemen, because I am a moron. Yes, say it again. I am a moron. Thank you, Joanne, for the 2 super stickers, by the way. I really do appreciate it. I'm so sorry. I'm such a dope. Oh my goodness. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, let's get stuck into it because you've been so patient waiting. I thought it was live. Look, we'll get into it now. There's some good news on the injury front for the Reds. And Jordan Henderson, Joel Matip, Divock Origi and Xherdan Shaqiri all took part in Liverpool training today, which is a great boost for the gaffer ahead of the Premier League restart next Saturday against Leeds United. Now, there was no pictures floating around of Shaqiri, but I can promise you he did take part in training, as confirmed by the Echo and various other people as well. But my God, I still can't believe I did a full 15 minutes there thinking I was live, and I was just thinking to myself, it's very quiet tonight, Craig. Maybe they don't like it anymore, mate. Maybe they've just stopped watching. You know what I mean? International football's on, pal. There could be a load of people watching the Thiago situation, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it in a couple of minutes. I'm so sorry again about the mess up earlier on. I promise you, bang on 8:30, I pressed go live and I was talking, but the second go live button didn't click, and I'm an idiot. I do apologise sincerely, and I thank you very much for your patience. Right, couple of other bits of good news. There could potentially be fans back inside Anfield next month, and I shit you not, this has been put out today. It's looking possible that around 12,500 fans could be allowed back inside Anfield for the game against Sheffield United on October the 24th. Now, what I haven't been able to find out, and a couple of people have asked as well, is if the club are going to ask people to wear masks inside the stadium during the game. That information I have not got for you guys. Liverpool could again have a potential European Cup fixture around this time as well, which may move the game a bit. But as of now, that's the kind of date that the club have penciled in, that they're hoping to get about 25% of Anfield's capacity, about 12,500 people back inside for that. And how great would that be to finally have fans back inside stadiums? And of course, it won't just be the Reds. That'll be up and down the country, right across the Premier League. Fans will slowly be able to make their way back in, which is brilliant. And again, I'm still laughing about this mess up at the start of the stream. It's nowhere near as funny to you as it is to me, trust me. But I do apologise again. And if you are with us, as you can see, 43,900, just about 60 or 70 subscribers away from getting the 44k, on the road to 50k. If you do like the channel, please do hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. As soon as the stream is finished, I will be jumping onto Flick Chat for a while as well. We've got a couple of polls up there at the minute asking you guys what you think of the new home shirt, who you think Liverpool should be going after and stuff like that. We've added a few moderators in there as well. If you haven't used the Flick Chat app yet, come on, come join the party. There is a link in the description. It is free to download. It's absolutely free to use, and it's going to become a big part of particularly our post-match show moving forward, and those that are on the app absolutely love it. So look, let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep moving. You get your questions ready and I'm going to answer as many of them as I can. You want me to go to the transfer news, or we wait for this chat to fill up a little bit more before we start talking about the sexy stuff? I'll leave it up to you guys. Alright, Joseph asked the question straight away, is Wijnaldum leaving? I get to that, but Diggsy, thank you, mate. He said, I love the streams. That really means a lot. I got a beautiful message, by the way, from somebody last night who said that he's a dad of 4, and that he really enjoys the streams, and the whole family do as well, which is beautiful to hear. I've gone a bit more family friendly lately, as you probably noticed. I keep the swearing down to a minimum now, but that will go out the window when the Reds are back in action in the Premier League. That much I can guarantee you. Right, Timo Werner just scored, Toblum said. Nice one. Thiago obviously playing tonight as well for Spain in that game against Germany. When I started it was 0-0, but somebody just said Werner just scored, so I gather Germany have probably taken the lead in that one. But look, let me get into the transfer news, ladies and gentlemen. There is one more bit of Premier League news with regards to finances. I'll touch on that later on, do remind me. But let's start with Wijnaldum, because that's the one that a lot of you guys are wondering about as well. And this has been a very difficult day for me particularly, because we always have to try and think ahead with the channel to make sure we're ready to go if something happens. Now, earlier on this morning, you guys probably seen if you're on social media, rumours started to gather quite quickly that Wijnaldum's transfer to Barcelona could be agreed within hours. That was earlier on today. Now, so far that hasn't materialised, and it doesn't look like this time of night that it probably will materialise today. But it does seem like Gini is unfortunately edging a little bit closer to the Anfield exit. And I say this with a very heavy heart, because I absolutely adore Wijnaldum as a footballer and as a player. And I've always said to you guys quite how important Wijnaldum was to Klopp, and how Klopp picks him, particularly in the big games. But I've got a stat now that backs that one up. Since 2016-2017, only Roberto Firmino has played more minutes in the Premier League for Liverpool Football Club than Wijnaldum. Just one player, Bobby Firmino, and we all know Bobby's a machine. Gini has completed a very impressive 11,046 minutes of Premier League football in that time, which is a good, 762 minutes or something like that, ahead of third place Sadio Mane. So as I said, we're going to miss a player who takes the field pretty much every game, plays massive part in Jurgen Klopp's squad. So to replace him, we're going to need something special, and that something special will most likely be Thiago. But there is something that I want to just pitch to you guys. I read something earlier on, and my cynical brain kicked in, because you know me, I am a cynic at heart. Liz said thanks for the laugh, appreciate the super chat, Liz, thank you very much. I'm still laughing about it, mate. But so here's the situation. It looks like Gini's going to go out the door. That hurts. That hurts as a Liverpool fan, because I've had a lot of Liverpool fans say to me over the last 24 hours on social media and stuff, why can't we have both? And look, in an ideal world, I'd love to have both of them. But you know the Gini contract situation. He could sign for any club outside of the Premier League on a pre-contract in January, which is about, 4 months away, something like that. And nobody wants to lose Wijnaldum for free. But nobody wants to lose Wijnaldum, actually. We'll just put a full stop there. But it is looking like he's on his way out the door, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. But Liverpool won't let Wijnaldum leave unless we have a replacement lined up. Now, I know that you're all thinking, and I'm thinking as well, that replacement is going to be Thiago, and look, it most likely will. But there is a fresh twist in this story, and that's what the title of tonight's stream is all about. So I want to talk to you guys. I find something a little bit convenient, put it that way. So Bayern Munich are looking at potentially signing Marcelo Brozovic as a replacement from Inter Milan for the outgoing Thiago. Now, call me a cynic, but when they're looking at him as a replacement, and then all of a sudden today I'm seeing in the media that Liverpool are eyeing up Marcelo Brozovic just in case things don't work out with Thiago, to me, in my cynical mind, that's us saying to Bayern Munich, okay, we're walking away from Thiago. Oh, and by the way, you know that guy that you're going for as a Thiago replacement? Well, we've got our eye on him as well. And do you know what we might do? We might just go and buy him. You'll still be stuck with Thiago, who's looking for a move, and we'll have taken your replacement off you. How does that sound? That's what I think is going on right now. I think this is Liverpool and Michael Edwards, again, just kind of flexing their muscles a little bit and trying to kind of knock down that fee for Thiago as much as they can. Now, the links to Marcelo Brozovic from Liverpool's point of view, they aren't new actually. They've been around for a while, but never really followed up with any serious belief from this side, from the UK-based journalists on this one. But it is interesting, and I do like the way this whole little saga is going on here, because it's weird. We're like both nickel and diming over about 30 million quid. Now, depending on what you believe, from the Barcelona side of things, they believe that Wijnaldum is going to come to Barcelona for somewhere between 15 and 18 million quid. From Liverpool side, they're hoping to recoup most of the 25 million quid, I think it was, that they paid for him. But I think probably we'll sell Gini, I reckon, for somewhere between the 20 and the 25, and then we'll probably go and We'll probably pay close to what Bayern want for Thiago, to be honest with you, because he's worth it. If nothing else, he is worth it. There's loads to get through with transfers, by the way. So let me know your thoughts on that situation. Had you seen the links to Marcelo Brozovic? He's been somebody to me that never struck me as a Liverpool player. But I do like the shithousery, if this is the case, with Liverpool maybe just letting Bayern Munich know that they've got an eye on the same player, just in case. Any links on OR, said RSH14? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the really intriguing thing about who Simoar is, not only have I seen any links from Liverpool, I've seen no links to anybody to his Simoar. Nothing. Which is mental in a window where we know Lyon are in some financial trouble and we know that he's probably available to be gotten. Now obviously Dembele is another player at Lyon who clubs are going to be looking at, and there's probably a few more there as well. Obviously after their impressive run in the Champions League, a couple of clubs will be knocking around there trying to get a deal, and we all know as well that the Lyon chairman, Jean-Michel Aulas, is a very tough negotiator. We've seen this before with Fekir. We've seen it with other clubs trying to do business with Lyon. It's difficult. So, no, unfortunately, mate, I've not seen anything on that one. A little bit of on Raheem Brewster as well, by the way. It looks like Jurgen Klopp has made a decision on Raheem Brewster, and it looks like Raheem Brewster will be staying at Liverpool, not leaving during this window on loan. Now, does this mean that Raheem Brewster is going to stay at Liverpool for the entire season? No, that's not being guaranteed, at least not in what I read. This could potentially be revisited in January if it looks like Raheem's not getting enough minutes with the first team. But as things stand, the plan is to keep Raheem Brewster at the club and not loan him out, which is kind of at odds with what I've been reading in recent days, which suggested that a loan was very likely, and that, as I said to you guys before, Jurgen Klopp was impressed with the way Chris Wilder was doing things at Sheffield United, and they were probably heading the queue. Crystal Palace had also been mentioned. There was links, of course, to Leeds United at one point as well. But as things stand, it looks like, and I'm delighted about this, I have to say, that Raheem Brewster is going to get a chance to impress the gaffer. Whether he gets enough minutes or not, look, that remains to be seen. But again, it is good news for me that Raheem is being kept at the club. I've got absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing today on Sarr and nothing on Daka. And I looked long and hard and I put the feelers out. I sent messages, I dropped emails, I was on WhatsApp. Nothing. It's gone stone cold on both of them. Absolutely zippity-doo that. Now, that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. That could be down to people playing international football, to people being distracted. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have a friendly coming up on Saturday against Blackpool. Just a reminder, that's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and it is available to watch on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. You know what? I'm sitting here saying all this, and part of me is thinking, are you still live, Craig? Are you still live? You still live, Dopey? Look, are you live? Are you live, mate? Are you? Are you live? You thought you were live a few minutes ago. You weren't. Are you live now? I bet you are. Am I live? I am live. There you go. Happy days. Diego Carlos link. Yes, Rory, thank you for leading me into that one rather nicely. There is a link to Diego Carlos again, and it's a link that I quite frankly don't believe, ladies and gentlemen. So reports coming out of Spain suggest Liverpool are looking at Sevilla's centre-back Diego Carlos, somebody who we've been linked to for a very long time. But as I've said to you before, he does have a buyout clause in his contract. I think it's somewhere around 70 million euro, something like that. But Sevilla are willing to do business for something around 40 to 50 million pound, from what I've read. We know Liverpool don't have 40 to 50 million pound available to drop on a centre-back. So if Diego Carlos is going to make his way to the Premier League, my thoughts might be that it's more likely he ends up at Manchester City than Liverpool at this moment in time. We know City are in the market as well. So, you know, keep an eye on that situation. But again, I don't see Liverpool spending that much money for somebody who, as I've said before, has an awful bang of Dejan Lovren about him to me. When I've watched him play, he's got that capability of doing something brilliant, and he's got that capability of putting his foot in his mouth, pretty much, as I do myself, of course. Harry Wilson, another bit of news on Harry Wilson. No loan offers, as I've said to you yesterday, will be accepted for Harry Wilson, and I understand why. He's had 3 successive loans in a row. He needs to put down roots and he needs to have a future with his career. But interestingly enough, there are clubs that are interested. Now, whether they put down the potential £20 million that Liverpool are looking for Harry Wilson, well, that's a whole another ball game. Newcastle, Southampton and Leeds are the 3 clubs that have been looking at, or at least registered their interest in Harry Wilson this summer. I don't know if those clubs will pony up the cash that Liverpool will want to take Harry Wilson away from the club. But this seems like, to me, a make or break summer or season season for Wilson, one way or the other. I don't think he'll make it at Liverpool. I've been very consistent in my opinion about that. But look, I'm always happy to be proved wrong. What have we got? Arsenal heavily linked to our... Arsenal have been linked to every player under the sun. Now, Chris, I do thank you for letting me know that, mate, because, you know, when I'm searching a war, I'm probably putting the words LFC after it, and that's maybe why I'm missing out on this. But look, Arsenal are linked to everybody under the sun. They've been linked to Thiago, they've been linked to a few more players as well. I don't know if Mikel Arteta has the money to go out there and get Houssem Aouar. They were linked to Coutinho at one point as a potential loan. They're trying to sort out a deal, aren't they, for Dani Ceballos to come back as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very Arsenal type player, Houssem Aouar, I will say that, but I've not seen the links, but I do appreciate your input, Chris. Thank you. I got a lovely message, by the way, the other day. I may have said this. I don't know if I said this from the stream that I wasn't live or the stream that I was, but it was a lovely message from a father who said that himself and his 4 kids enjoy watching the stream, and that means so much. All these little notes and emails like that, they mean the world to me. They really do. What have we got? Mark said there's 296 people on the Flick app, and Marcus put the link in there in the chat if anybody wants to join. If you are on Flick, you might have noticed when you're chatting, there's this cool little dude in the bottom corner. It's kind of a little cartoon dude with sunglasses on. If you click on him, that'll bring up a whole host of emojis. They're actually called cheer pixels on there, and you guys get 2 of them that you can use to tip us absolutely free. Basically, it's just a little incentive to let you guys know that they're there or whatever, and you can just use whatever ones you want, put them into the chat, and each time you use those, we get a 25p tip, and everybody gets 2 of them to use free. So if you want to help us out with that while you're on the app and it doesn't cost you, and just whack them into the chat. Everybody spam the Flick chat with as many of those little cheer emojis as you can, because every one of them is worth 25p to us, and you get 2 to use absolutely free. But most importantly, the Flick app itself is flying. We've got some polls up there about the Liverpool shirts, if you like them, what players that you want us to go out in, and we've added a few moderators as well, so they can keep the chat flowing in there when we're not offline. As I promised you, I'll jump on there as soon as the stream is over. So if you are new, let me know on the Flick chat app. Jump into one of the chats and let me know. Send me a private message to let me know. I've got some lovely private messages on there, by the way, and that's one good thing about the app. It gives you direct access to anybody that you want on there as well. So if you want to send me a private message on there, I'm leaving the private messages open, so have at it. I'll do my best. As you guys know that have messaged me, I've responded to every single one so far. I always try to do that. I probably take 2 hours a day to respond to everything, because I feel like, not that I feel like I have a duty to, I feel like it's the right thing to do, and it's important to me that I interact as much as I can with you guys, because as much as I like to think that I come on here and give you guys a bit of information, just like the gentleman Chris earlier on, I get so much love and information back from you as well, so keep that coming, folks. Right, what else have we got with regards to transfers? We've done the Wijnaldum stuff, we've done the Raheem Brewster stuff, and we've done the Brozovic stuff. Right, let's talk about the Premier League money. You guys might have seen an interesting story or article that popped up earlier on today, that the Premier League have terminated its agreement with PPTV, who hold the broadcasting rights, or I should say used to hold the broadcasting rights to show Premier League games in China. Their parent company is a company called Suning Conglomerate, and they didn't meet their last 7 months worth of potential or pay obligations. Now, I'm not sure if they just didn't pay for the past 7 months or if they didn't pay all of it, but either way, Premier League have stepped in and they've terminated that deal. So what does that mean to the clubs? Well, it's about $650 million lost revenue or lost income for the Premier League there, which works out at about £11 million a club over the course of that 3-year deal that it was with that company. So another hit, unfortunately, for Premier League clubs when it comes to finances at a time where they could probably do with them. And it is a bit of a shock. I mean, I don't know. I've never been involved in television broadcasting rights sales, but I've never really heard of a company like that have bought Premier League rights that failed to meet their payment obligations. Now, there are many that have tried to renegotiate stuff because of the coronavirus and stuff, and as we know, the Premier League have given back rebate to broadcasters, I think in the UK anyway, and I'm not sure if they've done it elsewhere in the world, but in this case they've just terminated the contract. So there you go. You've probably seen that story floating around earlier on. What have we got? Brewster. What do you want to know about Brewster? Well, Brewster's not going out anywhere by the looks of things. As I said, he's going to be kept with the club till at least January. Well, that's what I read earlier on anyway. Red Hulk, I won't be going on to watch anything on that channel, mate, so yeah, cheers. Do you think Nat Phillips will leave, and if so, to who? Yes, he will leave, mate, and I had seen links to Bristol City and somebody else in the Championship. There are two clubs that are looking at signing Nat Phillips from Liverpool. I said it last night, I can't remember who the second club is. It was Bristol City and another Championship club anyway. Are very close, I think, to getting Nat Phillips away from Liverpool. And again, he's another player that needs to put down roots. He was on loan at Stuttgart. I think he was part of the Stuttgart side that got promoted back to the Bundesliga. So, and a fun fact, by the way, I think Stuttgart was actually the city that he was born in, funnily enough. So, yeah, Nat Phillips looks like he's going to be heading out the Anfield door as well to Bristol City or somewhere in the Championship. Do you think Nat Phillips will move to Brighton? I don't know. Maybe Rory. Maybe. Or Bristol. Sorry, you changed that to Bristol. Yes, I do think he'll move to the Championship. When you actually said Brighton there, I started thinking, wow, are they going to go with him alongside Ben White at centre-back? Because they'd moved Duffy on from Brighton as well. So, yeah, maybe to Bristol City. That's what I'd seen anyway. Craig is a celebrity now. I wish. Feckin' wish I was, man. Do you know what? I wish I had celebrity money, I can tell you that. As you guys know, I still drive a 2011 Renault Megane Estate, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. But look, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to help out on the channel, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can hit a super chat, super sticker, or you can become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, which is $4.99 a month. There is a link in the description if you want to become a member, or you can click the blue join button. You do, of course, get use of all the cool emojis, and you also get the Anfield Agenda logo beside your name. Right, couple of super chats to go through. We'll start with John Conway. Hi Craig, how are you? Really enjoy watching the live stream. I'm brilliant, thank you John. All the better, mate, for seeing you in the chat as always. Really appreciate your support, mate, and I hope that life's treating you well. Chris P said Ceballos done, Coutinho no. Main targets now are Thomas Partey, Noir, Fabrizio, Ornstein and Watts are sources for the status of these four. Top man, Chris. Really appreciate that, buddy. I've long known about Arsenal's interest in Thomas Partey. And again, Chris, maybe you can correct me on this one. But the last I'd seen or heard about that was that they were looking to maybe do some type of a trade with Lacazette going the opposite way to Atleti. That would be a good get, by the way, for Arsenal if they did get Thomas Partey. He's a good midfielder. Craig, are you watching the Ireland match? I am not, mate. No, I was paying a little bit of attention to it earlier on. It was 0-0 last I'd seen. Obviously the start of the Stephen Kenny reign as Ireland manager, and I fully support Stephen Kenny's appointment, I have to say. I think it is the right move. Alan Thomas said Bale for 90 million. No, but I did see Mark Goldbridge, obviously of the United Stance, tweet something earlier on to say more business on the way maybe by the end of the week for United, or a busy end to the week for United or something along those lines. Oh, and while we're talking about Mark, actually, I forgot to say it to you guys. Mark's going to be coming on Monday. Mark's going to be coming on the show on Monday night, so make sure you've got your notifications turned on. I have got an amazing list of guests lined up for you guys over the next 10 days. I promise you, I've been working my backside off today. I've got Jim Boardman of The Mirror, who's going to be coming on at some point over the next week as well. Mark Goldbridge, who I said to you guys. I'm working on two more that I have an agreement with. I just haven't tied down dates with, so I don't want to tell you yet exactly who and when they are. But one of them's name rhymes with Shmaim Schmears. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? You'll never work that one out. It's a cryptic clue there for you. It's like the Times crossword there. But yeah, look, James Pearce should be coming on as well for a chat. Hopefully before the season gets underway. And one more person that I just need to nail down as well. So look, loads of people coming in for a bit of a chat ahead of the pre-season. I'm going to be doing a preview as well, I think, with a Leeds United fan channel ahead of the game. And I'm going to be appearing on a couple of other podcasts as well that I was asked to do. So busy. Goldbridge and Craig, the iconic duo, said Kate is the next Iniesta. It's really funny because I often get people in the comments just say you're just a rip-off United stand, and that always makes me smile because one, these people obviously don't know that myself and Mark know each other, and two, Mark didn't invent the green screen. This is what I always get. Now Mark did, is what the hell do I say this? He's at the forefront of what we do with regards to green screens and stuff. Yes, he was there. He was one of the first, but, somebody has to start. And it always makes me laugh when they say we rip off the United stand, because my personality and Mark's personality probably couldn't be any more different. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, it always does make me smile. If there's anybody else you guys would like me to get on, by the way, have at it. Let me know. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. As you can see, though, we are at 43,900, folks. I'd love to see that number turn over. So if you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the stream as well. Have I got any more stuff I want to say to you guys tonight? No, I've gone through everything I have. Right, so over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's finish up the stream with whatever you want to talk about. So is Thiago coming or not? Do you know what, mate? I would answer your question, but you're a snotty fucker in the way you asked it, so you can take your question and ram it up your hole and learn some fucking courtesy, mate. How about that? Rather than me answering your question, learn how to phrase a question politely, and I might give you an answer. If not, just piss off and go elsewhere, because I couldn't be bothered dealing with your nonsense. How about that one? Any news about Sarr? No, unfortunately. I looked long and hard for any news on Sarr or Daka, and got absolutely nothing today. No movement. No, we're still looking at both players. We still know roughly what it would cost to get the two guys, but I'm not going to lie to you, nothing. I've been stonewalled today. I've DM'd people, I've sent emails, I've WhatsApp people. Nobody's got at them. I don't know if the club is keeping their cards really, really close to their chest on this one, or if, you know, it's just genuinely gone quiet. But no, unfortunately, nothing new. What have we got? Craig, Thiago interview, make it happen. Yeah, just imagine. He'd be pulled out of the interview in 2 seconds. What about expressions? Yeah, I'm trying to pin down expressions. I sent him a DM, or not a DM, I sent him a WhatsApp message earlier on. I'd love to get expressions on for a chat before the season starts, but as you know, he's a busy man, so trying to pin down X is it's difficult, but I will be working on it. Don't worry about that, because I have no more fun streams than when I'm on with Mark or expressions. They're always great crack. Any credibility to the interest in Erling Haaland? No, Nico. Well, I mean, look, what club wouldn't like to think that they could go out and get Erling Haaland? But we had Jan Åge Fjørtoft on. Obviously, Jan Åge Fjørtoft being Norwegian, very close to the whole Haaland camp. And no, he's staying where he is. He's staying put at Dortmund for the time being, because he's always wanted to play in the Bundesliga. And he's quite happy where he is. And there's still plenty of time in that young man's career for him to move on elsewhere. And he's surrounded by some good young talent there at Dortmund. Going to be playing Champions League football. Going to be competing right at the top of the Bundesliga. So, no, he won't be moving anywhere anytime soon. Would you rather build a team around Neymar and Mbappe or Sancho and Haaland? The latter. The latter, mate. Just because I don't really like Neymar. I respect his skills, but I couldn't be arsed putting up with that. I couldn't watch him every week rolling around the ground. Now, Neymar has been confirmed as having tested positive for the coronavirus, and I do, hope that he's okay and he makes a speedy recovery. But I also wondered if he's rolling around his gaff at home at the minute, rolling around the floor, still tumbling all the way, still tumbling, looking for the ref to come out and give a yellow card to the coronavirus or something, I don't know. And look, sincerely though, I do hope that he's alright. True Jordy and Lawrence, that's the dream, man. That is the dream. I've met Lawrence. I met Lawrence at a La Liga TV, the launch of La Liga TV in London, actually, back in January. I managed to bump into Lawrence and have a chat with him for a few minutes. But yeah, I mean, there's more chance maybe in the future of me getting an invite on the kickoff. Hopefully, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, Lawrence would be great. I'd love to have Lawrence on for a chat. And of course, the big man, True Jordy. But I mean, probably more chance of me getting Lawrence, to be honest. And even at that, I'd have to get an in, and I don't really have an in with him. Get Fabrizio on to find out what's going on with our transfer news. I would, but my pockets aren't deep enough, put it that way. Team Coppish. Yes, I must actually touch base with Drifty. Drifty and Callum and the gang, because yeah, good friends. Really like Drifty, really like Callum, really like Coppish. And yeah, another good suggestion, thank you. The Rock, yeah, The Rock. The Rock tested positive. Do you know what I mean? Best comment on The Rock, by the way, was somebody saying, now that The Rock's tested positive for the coronavirus, can he still smell what he's cooking? And come on, you gotta say that is a belter of a comment. Whoever came up with that, just take a bow. Brilliant. Craig on the kickoff would be class. It would. It would be absolutely brilliant. And do you know what? I just know I'd get on with the big man. I just know that I would. I've looked at the kickoff and just thought, you know what? What they're missing up there is a bald, fat Irishman up on the table dancing around. You know what I mean? Having a bit of fun, a bit of crack, injecting a bit of life into the show at times. And yeah, I'd love to get on there at some point. I really would. Who's your favourite ever Liverpool player? God. Simple as, man. Simple as. Is Wijnaldum official? No, Ben, it isn't. Barcelona side of things, the Barcelona friendly media, shall we say, they seem to have suggested that it's really, really, really close. But Gini Wijnaldum sort of addressed it earlier on in his press conference with the Netherlands and said, it's just rumours and I'm not going to talk about it. Now, you can interpret that whichever way you want. I genuinely do think he will end up at Barcelona, but whether it's as close as some of the Spanish media are making out, that remains to be seen. It was really interesting, actually. I listened to The Echo did a podcast with Christian Falk, which is worth a listen if you get a chance. And they were talking about Thiago, and it was really funny because The Echo are still staying on their side of Liverpool aren't currently after Thiago, and Christian Falk was basically saying, well, they are. They are. And Bayern Munich are just waiting for the offer to come in. So I know which side I believe in this conversation, but, it's over to you which one you believe. Craig, do you think Thiago will make a massive impact to Liverpool? Yes, I do. Now, as I said, we will be losing a lot in Gini Wijnaldum if he moves on. Somebody who's played second most minutes since 2016-17 under Kloppo in the Premier League, but we would be getting in a specialist. And as I said to you guys before, a Spanish journalist seemed to suggest that the way Klopp was looking to set up was Fabinho, Henderson and then Thiago in front of them, spraying balls through, unlocking defences, doing what Thiago does, which is just oozing class. So fingers crossed. But yes, I would believe he'd make a massive impact, but it's really tough because nobody wants to lose Gini. Do you think we'll get Daka, said Tom? I think we hold an interest. The player's obviously fond of Liverpool. We've certainly tracked him. We know all about him. But most importantly, I think what might give us the edge in the whole race for Daka is that we have a good relationship with Salzburg, obviously, and that they play a similar style of football to Liverpool, which is kind of no secret to the reason why Liverpool went there and got Takumi Minamino and why they were impressed with Daka as well. And he did sign a contract, I can't remember what year it was, but in his contract, it might have been 2018 or something, the release clause in his contract is €75 million. Now, from what I've read, Salzburg will do business for quite a bit less than that €75 million. 20-25 million have been the numbers that I've seen bandied about, but there is going to be a race for that kid's signature, make no bones about it. There are going to be a lot of clubs interested, and I'm hoping that behind the scenes right now Liverpool are looking to do something on the Sarr or Daka front. Now, again, in the comment section, which I do read after the streams, there seemed to be a bit of a split between which one people would prefer. I have to say, from what I've seen, I'd probably side with the Salzburg man, Daka, if I had the opportunity. I think his ceiling is really high, but then again, Sarr's also tremendous potential. Obviously got that very good friendship with Sadio Mane, international teammates, somebody who almost looks up to Sadio as a big brother kind of figure. Should we boycott the EFL Cup this season? No. We should try and win every competition that we possibly could. Look, I want to ask you guys a question. I want to have a little conversation to end the stream tonight around the owners, because it is getting to the time where we're all kind of on the edge of being annoyed. Is that fair to say? A lot of people frustrated. A lot of people questioning why other clubs can go out and do a lot of business. Now, what really is starting to get to me is, we all knew what Chelsea were going to do. We knew that Roman Abramovich had said to Frank Lampard, here's a pile of cash, son, go out there into the market and do what you're doing. I don't even want to go through the list of players that Chelsea have signed, because quite frankly it just makes my blood boil when I think about it. Then you've got the whole situation with Manchester City. They've already spent somewhere around £82 million I think this summer, and they're potentially looking at Messi, albeit that whole situation seems to take a new twist every 2 minutes. And then you've got Manchester United, obviously after going and getting Donny van de Beek, and are being linked with a couple of more players like Jadon Sancho. But where it really starts to get annoying for me is you see Spurs out there doing business. You see Everton out there doing business, bringing in that guy Alan, I think it is, and that is his name, from Napoli, James Rodriguez, and Decore, I think from Watford as well. They've put in a bid or had a bid agreed for him. So every club seems to be out there. Leeds United going out there and signing the guy from Valencia, dropping a whole heap of money as well, breaking their club record, I think. This is what makes me ask a lot of questions in my head. Now, the questions that I'm sure if I ask somebody who's a money person, they'd give me the answers to. It wouldn't be the answers that I'd like, but they'd give me the answers. Now, my question is, why has the coronavirus seemed to have impacted us more than any other club in the Premier League? At least clubs in the top half of the Premier League. We're a well-run club. I know that and you know that. We work within what we can afford. I understand the cautious nature of this window, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If we go through this window and we don't make more signings, there's gonna be a whole lot of pissed off Liverpool fans and a whole lot of more pressure on that squad and the manager as well, because continuity is great. Keeping the team together is really important, and we've seen what difference an extra season together made last season when we went out there and won the Premier League. But look, we're not idiots. At the end of the day, we know that we need to freshen the squad up. You see any ex-professional, Cara out there saying the very same thing. You've got people like Gary Neville saying that it could be a massive turning point in the summer if Liverpool go out and get Thiago. I'll kind of paraphrase that a little bit. I don't want to put words in Gary Neville's mouth, but it was something along those lines that he said as well. I'm patient, at least with regards to Liverpool Football Club, and I understood last summer not signing anybody, and I understood that we were to get our house in order, but it was always the case that this was going to be the summer that we freshen things up a little bit. Now, as things stand right now, it's looking like there's not much business being done, and we're nickel and diming again, and this is the type of stuff that I don't want to say is embarrassing for a football club of our stature, but there's being cautious and there's taking the piss, quite frankly, in some scenarios. And we can't have a summer where every single club around us is strengthening, and some of them strengthening tremendously, and we're just told, yeah, but like, you've got the Premier League winning squad, and you've got the best manager in the world, and you've got great young players coming through, and that's all great, and I agree with pretty much all of that. But how much of this is almost not like a punishment to Jurgen Klopp, but has he overachieved, and are the owners perhaps kind of banking on Jurgen Klopp's ability a little bit too much? Or are we in for a pleasant surprise, and is there going to be a couple of signings? And I'm willing to wait it out a little bit longer, of course. I'm willing to sit back and see how this unfolds, but I would be lying if I said to you guys that I wasn't anxious and I wasn't sitting here a little bit pissed off about our lack of laying down a marker as Premier League champions, laying down the marker as a club who have brought in a hell of a lot of money over the last few years, laying down the marker as a club who have just started a brand new deal with Nike that we get 20% of all Nike branded Liverpool merchandise that's sold. A lot of income, a lot of revenue streams, and yes, I know there's a loss of somewhere between 80 and 150 million quid from the coronavirus. I get that, but there is a lot of stuff that has become clearer as well. We know roughly what the Nike kit deal is going to entail now. The club will see the numbers of the shirt sales coming in. I spoke to you guys earlier on about October potentially being a date where a quarter of Anfield could be full, 25,000 people, something like that. No, sorry, 12.5. Again, Craig being in the day, 12,500 people potentially for the Sheffield United game. What do you feel? How are you feeling out there? And don't just give me FSG out, because that's not even worth the time of day. How are you feeling about this? Are you as annoyed or frustrated as I am? Do you know what? Annoyed probably isn't the word. Worried is the word, which is a weird thing to say about a team, a group of players that have won the European Cup, the Super Cup, the Club World Cup and the Premier League, and almost been untouchable at times. But we haven't looked the same since the Premier League reconvened after the enforced break. Now, whether that's because Manchester City lost to Chelsea, we won the league title and the players dropped it down a gear, I don't know. Whether that's because there's no fans inside the stadium and that's impacting Liverpool more than other teams because we use the Kop as our 12th man, I don't know. But we haven't looked the same, and nobody can come on and say otherwise. We haven't. We've looked flat. We've looked void of ideas at times. Against Arsenal, look, let's be frank about this. That Arsenal team that was put out on that pitch in the Community Shield against the 11 that we put out, we should have battered them. We should have absolutely destroyed them, but we didn't. And we looked lifeless in the first half, and we looked like we hadn't got an idea or a game plan of what we were about. We improved in the second half, but it just wasn't the Liverpool that we're used to, and a couple of fresh signings could sort that out. And most importantly, and this is the thing that gets me about it, and I touched on it yesterday and there's a video out about this, I love our front three, but they need somebody putting pressure on them. They need somebody breathing down the back of their neck and saying, I'm here and I'm ready. As soon as you make a mistake, buddy, I'm taking your shirt because I'm backing myself. That's where I am. I want to know where you guys are. My patience is being tested, said Param. Worried, exactly, said Ewan Davis. Need a bigger squad. Salah looks poor, said Lawrence Mallet. Yeah, Salah's the tricky one to talk about, isn't it? Because he puts up amazing numbers, but he can be a little bit frustrating at times, Mo. Particularly lately, he just seems to have lost his clinical nature that he had. I mean, for the first season and a half he was here, he just seemed like every time he was through, he was scoring. But now he seems... I don't know if it's that he seems a bit more predictable or if it's that they're just doubling and trebling up on him, which they are. And I don't think he's got a lot of help from referees either, if I'm being honest with you. There's been a lot of situations where he's shown tremendous upper body strength to be holding off defenders who are clearly fouling him, and the ref hasn't been giving it to him. Who do you think will overtake from Klopp? It's difficult to say so far out, isn't it? I mean, Nagelsmann, Linders, Gerrard, Pochettino, I don't know. I mean, there's a number of people that could come in, but again, they won't be Jurgen Klopp. That's one thing I can say for sure. I think it's Bobby is going to do well next season. Said foot 20 monsters. Yeah, Bobby Firmino was another one that surprised me with Liverpool fans. He's my favourite player, and I love the bones of Bobby Firmino. And he can do no wrong in my eyes. I absolutely idolise the guy. But there are some people out there who think we need an out-and-out goal scorer. I don't know if that is the case, particularly with the style and the way that we play. We may actually have to tweak the system if we had an out-and-out number 9 through the middle. But I love Bobby Firmino, and Jurgen Klopp will always find a place in the starting 11 for Bobby Firmino. As I said earlier on, he has played more minutes than anybody else under Jurgen Klopp since 2016-2017 in the Premier League. Would I take Poch when Klopp goes? Again, Stefan, Pochettino is a very good manager, somebody who I hold in very high regard, but it's difficult to say because I don't know where he'll be. I don't know what state our club will be in, albeit I'd imagine it'll be in a fairly good way, to be fair, because Klopp won't leave us like Mourinho often leaves club, i.e. with a load of aging players on high wages. What more important, to keep Gini or to get Thiago, said Liam Jeremy. Thank you for the question, Liam. I think Thiago in this window. I think Thiago for a couple of reasons. One, he gives us something different to Gini. And again, every time I say this, it hurts because I really love Gini Wijnaldum as both somebody who seems to be a breath of fresh air in and around the club and somebody who's Mr. Reliable and always gives you a solid performance. But with Thiago, you're getting a specialist, somebody who can do something that a lot of our midfielders probably can't do. Maybe Naby Keita, but other than that, unlocking defences from midfield has been a problem for us. We've been forced into wide areas a lot, and also Van Dijk has been playing those beautiful long diagonal balls of his. But the other side of it is it's freshness, it's a new face, it's more shirt sales, it's more good feeling around the club, and it's another proven winner coming in. Obviously somebody who's won pretty much everything in the game with Thiago, so I would say yeah to the question. I mean, I think it would just revitalise everybody a little bit. It would certainly get the fans back on side, those that are kind of like myself, that are a little bit frustrated right now. As soon as Mane or Salah decide to leave, I think we'll move for Mbappe. Just hope Klopp will still be there to make it happen, said Red Hulk. We'll never sign Kylian Mbappe, mate. We just can't afford his wages. I mean, there's no way we're going to be starting to pay players 600, 700, 800 grand a week, mate. I just can't see it happening. It absolutely just destroy our wage structure. Lens-based media said frustrated but can't kick off until their way of doing business doesn't work. Catch-22 is if their way doesn't work, maybe too late to turn it around. No fans in the stadium helps the owners against the backlash. It's a very fair point, and it is you've summed up exactly what the problem is. It's too late to know if it's the wrong decision when it happens, but it's also a situation now as we can rectify it before it happens. So yes, I get where you're coming from. It's very difficult to be moaning when we are the Premier League champions and we haven't kicked the football yet in the new season. I feel that and I hear that, and it makes very good sense. But I also like to think that Liverpool fans are fairly well educated in the game, and we know what we're looking at, and we're no fools. And I'm not saying anyone's trying to take us for fools, but yeah, look, everyone's strengthening. Everybody around us is strengthening. We have to do it, sure. We have to go out and do some business in this window. And not just business for the sake of business. I'm not somebody that expects Klopp just to go out and make a signing for the sake of it. But there are areas we know need to be addressed. We need to fill the centre-back spot. We need to get another attacker in my opinion. And then, of course, the Thiago Gini thing is the other one. Do we need new owners, said Nageb. My answer to that, mate, would be no. I mean, as things stand, we aren't up shit creek. Do you know what I mean? We're still a very good team with very good owners, in my opinion, who've delivered a lot of stuff to the football club. I mean, you've probably seen the video floating around as well of the new training facility at Kirby that looks absolutely fantastic. They invested 50 million quid in that. They obviously built a new main stand. The Annie Road end's going to be done. You know what they've done. You don't need me to tell you. But they've always been honest and said that they will spend within their means. Now, there's two other things that suggest that maybe it'll be a quiet enough summer. I read something earlier on that they're not, when I say earlier on, I mean earlier on in the window, that they're not happy at the thoughts of not having to spend money in Boston. And I don't know if they furloughed or laid off staff over there with the Red Sox. I don't pay much attention to it, to be honest. But that it would look bad on this side of the pond if Liverpool are going out there and dropping money and the Red Sox can't. My answer to that is I really couldn't give a flying F about the Boston Red Sox and whether they have money or not. And I'm sure Boston Red Sox fans feel the same way about Liverpool fans, in that they're two separate entities, and I don't think they really should be linked in any way, shape or form, other than John W. Henry and FSG happen to be the principal owners of both. Then the second part is, of course, the backlash from Liverpool fans when they furloughed staff. They reversed that decision. They knew it was a massive PR gaffe, but they also said that there are financial implications to that and they have to shell out on wages. And I'm very aware of that as well. But I still think Liverpool fans are being reasonable in their expectations. We've measured our expectations. Nobody's expecting Liverpool to go out there in this window and sign Jadon Sancho. Nobody's expecting us to go out there and sign Kylian Mbappe. Nobody expected us to match the money that was put down on the table for Kai Havertz. But we are expecting somebody to go out there and get somebody like Sarr, Daka, Uar, Thiago, a fourth choice centre back to come in. These are all things that we should be able to afford. Players sub 50 million quid. That should be capable for Liverpool Football Club. Surely, Jesus, it has to be. I mean, if we're still sitting here in 2 weeks' time and we're still talking about this, I think that the anger levels from everybody will have ratcheted it up a little bit. But hopefully, we've got a nice little shiny sign in and something to talk about soon. Is Wijnaldum leaving? Alex, I would say most likely yes, mate, unfortunately. As I said, I do say that with a heavy heart, and we were making the thumbnails earlier on. I say we, I like to include myself in all of Connor's work. We were going through the thumbnails earlier on, and of course we have to have thumbnails and stuff ready for every predicament, and just seeing Genie in the Barcelona shirt in the image Connor mocked up was hard to look at. I'm not going to lie to you. That's how much I really do love Genie, but that's the case this summer. It's one out, one in. That is the way it's going to be. Ben Boyle said Takumi's playing really well since the restart. Do you think he can push the front three? Definitely, Ben. I still think that was an unbelievable piece of business from Liverpool Football Club and Michael Edwards. Again, I want to reiterate that we were one of the few clubs that actually knew about his buyout clause. There was interest from United, who at the time I'd read were willing to pay up to 20 million, but we knew that there was that £7.25 million release clause in his contract, and we executed it and got the deal done really quickly, which was fantastic. And yeah, it took him a while to acclimatise, but I always expected him to. But you're right, he did start to show his worth, particularly when he came on against Arsenal. Got himself that goal as well, which is brilliant, and that'll give him a nice boost. But there's still a drop off. We'd be liars. I'd be a liar if I sat here and said to you that from Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Bobby Firmino to Divock Origi, Raheem Brewster, Sheridan Shaqiri and sorry, I got myself in a bit of a muddle there for a second. Sorry, and the rest of Takumi Minamino, the rest of the attacking lineup that we have, there's a drop off. There's a massive drop off there, and we need to address that. But it's frustrating because then you look at it and there's the argument that we've got Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Neco Williams, Raheem Brewster, Sepp van den Berg, Keanu Hoover, Billy Comedio, Queeveen Kelleher, and a few other really talented young players who are knocking on the door and will need some experience as well. So it'll be a matter of how many of them end up out on loan, how many of them stay, and how many of them progress through to the first team. Another thing that was announced earlier on, by the way, I don't know if you've seen this, it has been confirmed now. The Premier League clubs have voted, and there will only be 3 substitutions allowed this season in the Premier League. As you know, they had altered it to allow 5 substitutions in the restart with 9 people on the bench. Now it's going to be back to 3 substitutions with just 7 players on the bench. So back to the old way of doing things, and I've got to say I agree with it, because I think the 5 substitution rule, 1, I think it favoured the bigger sides, and 2, I think it slowed down the game a little bit too much at times, and it didn't work for me, but I could understand the reasoning behind it with the enforced break and players not being perhaps fully up to speed. Craig, we need to get Thiago wrapped up with or without Genie. I don't think it'll happen without the Genie sale. I think that has to be the next step in this process. Barcelona have started the process by moving on Rakitic. They've freed up a space that looks like it could be taken by Genie, and when Wijnaldum is agreed, if he is agreed to Barcelona, then we'll see Thiago happen. How's tricks, pal? In late tonight, said Liam. I'm all good, Limo. How are you, buddy? 1-1 in the Spain game, said Rob Shepherd. Thank you very much. Watch for Curtis Jones to make a splash in the first team, said Risk It. 100% agree with you. The kid is a baller, no doubt about it. And he's got tremendous amounts of courage, he's got tremendous amounts of ability, and he believes in himself 100%. I've loved Curtis Jones ever since I've first been told about him. I started to watch him, and I've no doubt that he'll make it in the first team. Right, I want to give you guys a bit of a heads up about what's going to happen over the weekend. The plan for me is to hopefully take Saturday and Sunday off and spend it with the family, with it being an international week. I do have a few other obligations and bits and pieces that I need to do. I'm appearing on a few other podcasts, and I'm probably doing a preview with a Leeds channel and a few other bits and pieces, but we won't leave you stuck. We'll make sure that there are a few clips or a few bits to put up as well over the weekend, and then of course we'll be back on Monday with Mark Goldbridge joining me. We're going to be looking ahead to the Premier League relaunch. We're going to be looking ahead to the rest of the transfer window, and of course we're going to be chatting about what the clubs have done in this transfer window. Are United fans happy, and everything else in between. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I sincerely apologise about the mess up earlier on. I couldn't believe that I was talking for 15 minutes to myself. That's just what happens, you know what I mean? But again, ladies and gentlemen, please do help out by hitting that subscribe button. Drop a like on the stream as well. I love the bones of each and every one of you. I appreciate that you take the time to come in here and have a bit of fun with me and talk about the club that we all love. Have a wonderful weekend. I will be here tomorrow, which is good news, I hope. And I will see you guys at 8:30 for another late night agenda. Maybe some more news on Gini Wijnaldum at that point. And of course, if I find out anything else on the Ismaila Star and the Daka situation, I'll be on here straight away to let you guys know. Thank you for your support. Love the bones of you all, as I said. And up the Reds. I'll chat to you soon. Thank you very much for watching.